mentioned both of them, Theo Walcott and Oxlade, not in the starting lineup. Didn't start against Liverpool. You know, that is a mystery to some fans. How do you see that? Would you play both of them in the starting lineup?
I would have started the season with Theo up front. Still not convinced, by the way, that's, you know, he's going to end up there, and that's what he is, because he still has to play for me in that position for 20 games, you know, and have a run in games and be the centre forward and be that striker. You know, he's flitted in and out of that position, and I tried it with England, and but he's not really nailed down it at all, and that's not necessarily his fault. If he doesn't get picked, then you know, in that position, and Arsenal doesn't play him, then, you know, that's out of his control. But you know, Oxlade-Chamberlain, I'm a big fan of his. I really am. I think he's direct. You know, if he can just stay away from injuries, I think he could get a run in the side as well and really become top Premier League player. And you've got to, you know, he's got pace. He runs behind, and that's something you know, with Theo as well, is when I watch Arsenal and they frustrate me at times when their beautiful game isn't working. You know, what is the plan B? And plan B for me is always hit the ball in the channel and get it over the top, turn teams, and with a bit of pace. And then those two have got that. But you know, you have to have options. You have to have different ways of playing. And I just feel my look at Arsenal is, you know, when they're good, they're the best, and when they're off their game, you look at them and go, they can't win the league playing like that, because you have to have a slightly different approach when things are not going your way, and I think that's their weakness.
And your mate Righty, he gets fired up with the Ox not being in the team.
Yeah.
I watch his comments on Breather on Twitter, and he gets angrier and angrier when he's not in the side. Do you think, because I think it's everyone's concentrated on the Liverpool game, and Arsenal were very poor in the first half. There's no question about that. But I also think it's worth saying that Liverpool were very good and very well organised. And what I guess, you know, from a layman's terms, I didn't quite understand why he didn't have that input of pace from, say, Oxlade or Theo to kind of try and frighten Liverpool a little bit more, because they looked like, you know, they were pretty satisfied with dealing with everything that was there.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised too. But you know, you have to give credit. Liverpool played really well. They played a system that suited playing against Arsenal at home, in as much as they got players behind a rigid 4 more or less, and Lucas just sitting in front. They played like a 4-1-4-1, and they hit Arsenal on the break at times, and they stifled that really short, intricate passing game that Arsenal like to play. Second half it was different, but it's bound to be. But I think Brendan Rodgers got his tactics right, and you know, maybe it's difficult. So I think last year the team tried to suck teams out a little bit more second half of the season at home, and it worked. I think allow the team to have the ball a little bit, and if you give, I say they give the ball to the opposition, but if you allow them to play a little bit and just drop off a bit, it creates the space, and it's quite hard to do because Arsenal want to have the ball and do all the passing because that's what they're good at. But they did. I think they did it quite well towards the end, or the second half of last season, and I expected them to be a bit like that against Liverpool and just sort of go, okay, we'll let you have a ball. Having said that, you know, if you pass the ball like we did from the back in the first half, you know, you could, you know, play Halifax Town and be struggling because it was awful, you know, and it got better second half, and they had a lot of possession and created chances. You know, Mignolet made 2 or 3 really good saves. So, but probably I think Liverpool just shaded it on the night.
And do you feel like the game this weekend at Newcastle is a big game for Arsenal in many ways?
They're all big.
Yeah, but sure. But you know, after the first 3 games this season, it's been, you know, we were talking about before we started recording. We did the Breathe Sport live show. Of the 4 panellists, Wright, Didi Hamann, Peter Reid, Robbie Savage, 3 out of the 4 said Arsenal will win the league. and it feels
Who
like
was the one who didn't?
Robbie said Man United,
Right.
and it feels like 3 games into the season, everyone's now jumped ship, and so it feels like the game this weekend is a big one because
you didn't ask me at the start of the season.
you were away.
I was away.
You were in America.
I wouldn't have said Arsenal.
Right.
Although my heart would have done, but I still, again, we go back to the transfer window. At this moment in time, and at the start of the season, when you ask that question, you have to give your opinion then, because anything can happen in the transfer window. So, ask me in 2 days' time, and if they're still in the position they're at, signings wise, then I don't think they can win the league. I don't think they will win the league. And I felt that then, and I still feel the same now. I still think we're short, and we will get found out at times during the season that you might turn around and say, well, look at Chelsea then, but you're asking me about Arsenal. I think Chelsea will get better. I think there's issues and problems there that Mourinho's dived into, and he seems to be under a bit of pressure and stuff, but they're full of their team's very solid, and they've got players there in all positions and challenging, that's still very strong. And you look at Man City, I think they're strong. I think they've got the bit between the teeth. They are hungry again. Little things like against Chelsea, when Costa and Fernandinho were having a bit of a ruck during the game, half time came and they were walking down the tunnel, and Costa looked like he wanted to, and then all of a sudden there's 2-3 Man City players in between them protecting their own player. Little things like that you see that you might not see during the game or whatever, but there's a mentality there that's I understand that I go, yeah, they're all together. They didn't leave him on his own to get in trouble with Costa. They went, no, we'll take care of this situation. So I think Man City are the team to beat. 3 games in.
You see, I look at you mentioned Chelsea have had a difficult start to the year, or more difficult than some would expect, but they've signed Pedro, and they've quite clearly been going after John Stones very aggressively.
Yeah.
And that's the
really?
difference.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, I think he's now aggressively trying to get there as well. But that's the difference with Arsenal. You hear that. I don't know whether Arsene does his business so behind the scenes that he keeps it so quiet.
I think he does.
Do you?
Yeah, I think that is him.
Or the other alternative is there is nothing going on, or not enough.
I don't believe that.
Okay.
I believe that he's been doing this a long time, and he's always done it his own way. That's the thing with him. He is very set in his ways that way, and he would do things his own way. And the thing with him, he doesn't listen to anybody, which sometimes to the detriment of maybe having another person in his ear, just giving him a different opinion. But he will go, right, this is what I'm going to do, and he lives or dies by his decisions. And over a period of 19 years or whatever it is, you'd have to say that most of the decisions he's made have been pretty good. I'm frustrated that the team isn't more complete than it is, and I would pretty sure he is as well. But because he goes about without singing and dancing about stuff, that sometimes it's seen as he doesn't care, or he's not trying, or I'm pretty sure there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes that I don't know about, or certainly everybody else. However, he's still only signed a goalkeeper, but there's still 2 days to go.
So basically what you're saying is Wenger and Jose are very different people.
Well, I think you can see that from the
just a little
from the little sort of altercations they have on the. I'd like to see that I'd like to see him get some boxing gloves on. That'd be hilarious.
Who do you think would win? I think Wenger's got an exceptional reach.
But you know what Mourinho's like. He'd play dirty, wouldn't he?
He would,
go below the belt.
It's big time. Yeah.
A straight jab from Mourinho would probably hit Arsene below the belt as well.
Right, brilliant. Thanks very much for that, Lee.
Pleasure.